Finding a job with the I Want to Work app is easy. Just search the live vacancies on our interactive map to find a job that matches your skills and experience. Sign up and complete your profile. Upload information about your education and career history before posting your very own video CV. Hit apply and let I Want to Work do the rest. It couldn't be simpler.
I just have to check here on my mobile as well that we are actually live, and then we begin with our today's live broadcast, just to make sure that we are live on LinkedIn. All right, perfect. Welcome everybody. This is Sohaib Hasan live with another LinkedIn live broadcast, and today we are going to discuss literally everything about when it comes to job searching in the UAE market insights. And I have beautiful panelists with me, comes with decades of experience in the HR, in the recruitment background, and we're going to answer your question as well, and we're going to discuss literally everything when it comes to job searching in the UAE. And with this COVID-19, a lot of things have changed in the past. Businesses have shut down, people have lost their jobs, and there is a drastic change since the last year. But now things are getting back to normal, and we're going to discuss today that how you can grab a job opportunity, the things that you need to focus in your life, in your career, to grab your next opportunity. I'm reconfirming that we are live on our LinkedIn. Yes, we are live. So let me introduce you to our today's panelists. So we have Miss Louise, who has been in UAE for more than a decade, and she comes from the HR background. Currently, she is heading the Middle East HR department for the Coffee Club. Then we have Mr. Lance J, who is a recruitment consultant, been in the UAE for more than a decade as well. And he has a very interesting story, by the way, which we'll come back in a while. On my left, we have Valencia Fernandez, who is from the HR background as well. She is associate CIPT certified as well, been in different parts of the Gulf, and in UAE, I believe, more than 6 years.
No, just about 4 years.
Just about 4 years, so you'll get there in the next 2 years. So we're going to talk on the certification side as well, because a lot of you have been asking, should I go for an HR certification or not? What kind of certification should you go for? And does certification really help in cracking a job opportunity? Then we have well-known Trisha Chapman, all the way from Australia. She is based out in UAE for more than 6 years. And she is an expert in CV writing, interview coaching. When it comes to especially LinkedIn optimization and beating the applicant tracking system, her clients have been really, really successful in the UAE. Welcome, guests, in today's live broadcast. How are you feeling? I believe you're excited. Awesome. I actually have a list on questions. People, they have a lot of questions regarding their job searching. They wanted to come to UAE and they want to work here. So all these questions I'm going to ask you, and because you are the industry experts, and we're going to share the knowledge with our audience as well. So let's begin from Trisha. A little bit about yourself. In the meantime, I checked that my audience, they are leaving their questions as well. And just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll answer to you, to Louise, and all the way to Lance. And then we begin with our live broadcast with the questions that we have on our table for today.
Fantastic. So thank you so much, Sohaib. It's a pleasure to be with you once again. And to all of the panelists, really, really excited for today's talk. For those of you who maybe haven't met me yet, my name is Trisha Chapman. Actually, I'm the managing partner of Impressive CV. We're an SME that focuses on all of the necessary tools for a successful job application. So what does that mean these days? Beyond the CV, cover letter, LinkedIn, also personal branding.
Thank you for having me here, Sohaib. It's a pleasure to be here with people like Trisha and Louise, Lance, and yourself above all. So thank you so much for having me. I'm Valencia Fernandez, and I've been a recruiter by profession for over 12 years now here in the Middle East, predominantly from Kuwait and currently in Dubai. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have on certifications being a CIPD associate.
Hello, everyone. My name is Louise. I've been in Middle East for the last almost 15 years. Always working in HR, looking after everything HR related, business partnering, and recruitment and everything HR. I'm an all-rounder HR, looking after.
I believe you love HR.
I love HR.
Really?
Yeah, I love people.
I can see that.
It's more to do with people, you know.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Yeah,
so you're a
I love
people-oriented
it.
person.
I am, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, and thank you for the invite.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I hope to see you next time.
Absolutely. Lance.
Good afternoon, everyone who's watching right now in LinkedIn. Please make sure to share this video so others can also watch it and get more information. My name is Lance, and well, I'm an HR professional by profession, recruitment as well by blood for more than 15 years now. I've been in the UAE for 11 years, exactly this month, April, and unique thing about me is that I started my own channel, not only in YouTube, it started actually in Facebook, to help out and reach out to people in the UAE. Started with Filipinos because that's where I got all the questions with regards to where to apply, what is the right job for me, how to compute the gratuity and end of service, and a lot of questions about HR. So, and I'm going to share more information about that later on.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you very much. So let's begin with our today's live broadcast. And the first question that I have to kick this off is, Luis, to you. A lot of things have changed since COVID-19 hit the world. Now, especially talking about the recruitment process. Recruiters, they are taking interviews online, which we would have never thought. Now, every single day, you are scheduling a lot of interviews, Zoom calls, Skype calls. So how did you find the recruitment process has changed over the last 1 year, and how it has changed actually in terms of the day-to-day activities when it comes to the recruitment process?
Great. So we've had to relook at the whole recruitment model and be more agile in terms of how we will be onboarding people, how we'll be interviewing people, because now the one-on-one interaction is no longer it's no longer there because of social distancing rules and all that. So basically what we've had to do is to go virtual.
Okay.
Yeah. Rely more and more on recruitment platforms compared to before. So I feel like there's no that human interaction is lost.
And you missed that?
We've lost that. Yeah, sort of. Though I'm not like 100%, as I was telling my colleague
Valencia.
Valencia, that recruitment is not really my forte.
Okay.
I have to do it, but it's not my forte. I love everything else apart from recruitment. But we've had to really revisit our recruitment processes and change our old way of working and embrace the new way of working, which is basically use a lot of recruitment systems, which we were not using before. We were very manual. The second thing we've had to do is invite people virtually. It's just our way of thinking and how to have that human element when it comes to recruitment. But having said that, the new way of working or recruitment is actually saving us a lot of time because we don't need the candidates to come all the way, tell us they are late for the interview and so on. You know, it's virtual everywhere. So that has really sped up the process. Yeah, but that human interaction
is still missing.
It's still missing, unfortunately.
Right. And when it comes to human resources, it's all about people.
Of course, it's all
interacting
about
with the people,
interacting, that engagement. You know, when you look at the body language of the candidate, now we can't see that anymore. Yeah, I mean, you cannot see it virtually compared to one-on-one.
This is a good point. So if you are interviewing a candidate online, so do you have now a new set of criteria that you would evaluate a candidate on? In a face-to-face interview, you see their body language, you see how they are dressed up, and how they have walked in, their confidence level, gestures, excitement, each and everything is there.
In terms of recruitment process going virtual, I think what's really important right now is how prepared they are, how they appear, their confidence level, communication. I think that takes more precedence now compared to before. Before, I think there was a mental block, I would say. The minute somebody walks in, you read them from what they look like, but now you're reading into it. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's first impression. The first 8 seconds you make an impression about a candidate, whether they are suitable or not, purely based on
what they look like.
And even the candidates, I think, like they are more confident now because they just have to.
There is that.
They're more confident in giving interviews.
Yes.
In their own element, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Exactly. Trisha, I will come to you and ask you people have been asking, what are the top industries hiring in the UAE? So we have seen how the recruitment process has changed over the last 1 year. But what about the industries in the UAE that are hiring, and the roles which you would like to highlight more, which are in demand?
It's a really good question, because a lot of my calls and consultation calls are all about this. So I think it's really important that we're filtering what's actually real and what's not before we begin talking about the sectors, because there's quite a lot of companies, unfortunately, that are doing job adverts for branding, for lead generators. So it's important to validate the jobs before you actually go ahead and apply. So what am I seeing out in the market quite a lot is FMCG, a lot of strategy jobs for those in the senior positions, sales, business development, and definitely analytics. So there's a lot of big data out there, a lot of data that just needs analysis. And then this forms the strategy for the company if someone can actually facilitate and translate this data into meaning. And lastly, definitely healthcare. I think there's just an unprecedented amount of nurses, doctors that are being requested in the UAE, which, this is the global situation.
Right. And I also think new roles have been created when it comes to social media management, because businesses have gone digital. A lot of social media managers that they can handle. Maybe Lance, you would like to add on this? And also please tell us, coming back from the HR background as a recruitment consultant, worked for more than 10 years in the HR industry, and how did you end up having a YouTube channel? What were the things inspired you, and the content that you share on your channel?
It started more of like a hobby or something, like for me, just to debunk some misconception about the UAE, because a lot of people would like to come here and thinking about a lot of things about the country which are not actually true. Then I started with that until later on we're getting some questions in our Facebook page with related to jobs, like where do we apply really, what are the unique or the most trusted job portals where we can send our CV to, what is the right way to create our CV, and then how to answer the questions in the right way, and all this and that. So all started with that until we created a channel, and then it was really a big help, not only for me, being someone who's branding myself in the market as an HR professional who's doing this kind of thing, but at the same time, it helped out a lot of people on getting the right information when it comes to looking for the right job, and making the right decision when it comes to when to leave their jobs, what is the right thing to do with regards to retaliation, and a lot of issues when it comes to HR related topics.
I believe these are the topics which not everybody they really know a lot around these topics. Like
exactly.
And
even leave benefits, will be surprised that people doesn't know about how many sick leaves am I entitled to get. That there's a 50% and 75% in all that. Like how many? Like some people doesn't even take their leaves after 2 years of completing their contract because they don't know that they are actually allowed to get it during their first year. So a lot of people we were able to help because of this.
Right.
Yeah.
And you produce content on daily basis?
Well, during the pandemic, I actually stopped. But one thing that we created before the end of the pandemic is the first ever online job fair.
Okay.
That was the first ever. I tried looking, but I cannot find anything. Like I have my own HR group in WhatsApp, so I get all the available jobs in the market, and then I do a live 1 hour job fair. I just flash in the screen the jobs available, and then the the email address where they need to send it to, and we were able to help people on a weekly basis getting their jobs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We were able to do that.
Great. There is one thing, a question was from the audience, networking. That networking is really, really important in the UAE. And so far my experience, I've been here for more than 6 years now. And I always say that people actually in Dubai are so well connected that if you're connected with the people, you are connected with the opportunities. Yeah. So it's very important to connect with the people. So if I may ask, does networking really play a role in getting you a job?
I think I'm a very, very firm believer in networking, because if I look at the jobs that I've received in the UAE specifically, right from the time I moved here, has all been through networking. And I think networking doesn't stop at just connecting, with someone and just letting it be there. I think it's connecting and building a relation as well. Right. So they remember you. So you can't stop by saying, hi, how are you? I'm looking for a job, and you leave it at that. I think it goes beyond that and saying, okay, I'm looking for a job. I can help you in this manner, or I know someone who can fill this role for you. Please keep me posted. I think it goes beyond just getting connections and just leaving it there. I think it goes beyond that as well. And I think that's one of the best ways to land your job, in my belief.
Great. Trisha, you have been very active on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is a platform for networking and personal branding and expanding your connections. So with this COVID-19, events have shut down since a year now. But LinkedIn still gives you the opportunity to connect with the people, to expand your network and do the networking. So how do you see this LinkedIn as a platform that people can take advantage of to expand their network, actually to grab more opportunities from and within their connections?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think there could be probably multiple answers, but I think people need to realize that, the digital space is quite saturated at the moment. So, you've got, as they say, every man and his dog online, that we're all connected. So how can you stand out? Maybe creating the likes of, say, a video resume, or so when you attend LinkedIn Live events, you can even post your video resume in the link, or when you're attending events, LinkedIn events, likewise, make yourself known. So don't just be a silent member, frequently comment, post a video CV or a pitch so that people, get seen on the digital space, because it's really saturated. So you've got to do something different to be able to stand out from the crowd.
Right.
I hope that answers.
Exactly, wonderful. Lance, regarding YouTube, you are active on LinkedIn as well, and the community on LinkedIn is very different when it comes to YouTube.
Definitely.
So do you still feel like you are able to connect with your audience through YouTube just by making videos? Because on LinkedIn you can make videos, you can comment, you can like, you can add each other?
Well, totally two different worlds, I would say, because LinkedIn is like, let me use the word more professional. Like LinkedIn is really for people who's connecting to anything related to being professional in the job. And YouTube is a place where you can find, is a market. Usually people will come to YouTube in order to be entertained, but at the same time to be informed. That's the good thing about YouTube. So they know exactly, because in YouTube interaction is there. Like Facebook is more interactive because right away you can get the answer, unlike YouTube where you need to wait. Where in Facebook you can chat right away to the person and get the information. So it depends. That only means that possibilities are endless. So you can be in LinkedIn, you can be in YouTube, you can be in Facebook and even in Instagram in order for you to get all the opportunities available in the market.
Perfect, great answer. Luis, I have one question. This is regarding, again, since you're coming back from the HR and recruitment background, a lot of things actually have changed due to this COVID-19 pandemic. Now, millions of people, they have lost their jobs across the globe. When you, as an employer, you post a vacancy online, you get thousands of applications. How do you manage the pool of applicants, the stream of applications coming just by posting one single vacancy, and within 1 hour, you have hundreds of applicants? How do you close a vacancy? Or you go for referrals or within the network?
So basically, my platform that I prefer to use is LinkedIn, because it's so easy for me to go and, shortlist to the criteria I'm looking for, right? Based on, the skill set, the experience, the type of person I'm looking. And for me, the most important, obviously, is the industry. They must have F&B, for example. I can't take someone from any other industry, because it's very, very complex, especially for senior roles. So basically, I shortlist using LinkedIn. Okay. And then, as I said, I will look at the skill set. I will also look into how long they've worked for an organization. Mm-hmm. So if it's someone jumping every other year or every other month, automatically I'll reject the candidate. But of course, the first criteria is they must be based in the location that I'm looking for. So I'll also put that as a key criteria for me, because I don't want to be recruiting for Saudi and the person is based here, no matter how great they are, because there's the cost element of having to transfer them there. Yeah, so location first. I also look at the profile, and I'm very, very, very detailed person, almost a perfectionist, which is not a great thing, to be honest. I will look into the basic of that profile, you know, how they've written their CV. If it's missing key information, you know, sometimes they'll apply for a role, basic things are missing, right. The names are missing. How do you miss a name on your resume? Mobile number, I can't contact you. Or you try to email them, they don't respond. You know, when you're doing the pre-screening, no matter how great a profile is, if you are serious about looking for a job, I always tell the candidates, please be alert. Always check your mails, check your phone. If you see a missed call, call back, right? Otherwise, it's very, very challenging when you don't respond and you want to be shortlisted for a role.
The Jobs Talk with Sohaib Hasan. Brought to you by I Want to Work.
Just one app, you don't need to pay. Get a job the easy way. I want to work.
I think this leaves me to ask a question to you, Trisha. So we have discussed about networking plays a vital role in cracking, sourcing job opportunities and discovering new prospects. And what Luis was just saying about the hard time as a recruiter they face when the applicants, they are not submitting proper applications, tailored application. So how important it is now, I know you have a lot to say on this. So when it comes to tailoring applications, so how important it is for the applicants to tailor their application and how a stellar resume help them crack an opportunity.
Actually, this is all what my content is about. So if any of you follow me, I'm sure that you probably would have heard this message over and over and over, but I can't stress the importance enough, and probably you guys directly in HR, of tailoring your CV to the application. There's no point sending one resume that you wrote 3 years ago or just updated your most recent job to 50 applications that have no relevancy. So you're not matching your skill sets to the job description. You're not looking through both the hard and soft skills that's being requested. You can maybe even be showcasing, you know, your achievements, you know, clearly identifying what is your unique selling proposition, what metrics have you done to be able to showcase why you are the perfect candidate or the optimal candidate to be shortlisted for that role. So I think it's really important. I can't stress the importance enough because it's so easy to do. You know, 2 or 3 minutes for each job application, find out what actually are they asking of you, okay?
And I think everything is mentioned in the job description as well. Lance, just a quick question. People ask about resume length and they're always confused and they have a lot to write on their CVs, and some experts, they tell them you should not go beyond 2 pages.
Depending on the position of the person, because mostly you will get, I have experience getting 10 pages, honestly. And I was like, am I reading a novel or like everything in here? I mean, you just need to be concise exactly on what the summary of your key responsibilities and everything, because in a matter of even 30 seconds, when I look at the CV as a recruiter and I can see right away that the summary is there, then easily I'll get interested in looking at the second or the third pages of the CV. But in the beginning itself, when it's like, what am I going to do with this? So it's like, no way.
Valencia,
Yes.
question regarding the certifications now. And also would like to know from your side as well, because you have worked in different parts in the Gulf. So about the resume length, so maybe you can just share your opinion as well. Should a CV be confined in 2 pages, 1 pages, or 3 pages maximum? Yeah. And then the important question is regarding the certification. Right. People have been asking that, should I go for an HR certification to get a job in UAE? And which certifications are more in demand when it comes to the UAE market? Do employers, they really prefer candidates who have the certifications, or an MBA with 10 years of experience can still compete someone who has a certification?
All right, great. So there are two questions. So the first one would be regarding the CV length. Although I'm of the opinion that you cannot contain everything you've done in 2 pages, I also believe that too much information is no good information because you're going to be looking at specific things. So realistically, I think if you can comprise or contain everything that is relevant to a job in the first 2 pages of your CV, you're good to go.
Okay.
Whatever happens after that, it really doesn't matter because I think as a recruiter, and I think y'all would agree as well, and Trisha too, I think the first thing you look at is this person based here? Yes or no? That you'll get probably from the information right at the top. And then you're going to be like, okay, I'm looking for an HR specialist. Is this person really an HR person? And you're going to go to their last experience. And that's pretty much it. How often do we really go back pages? So if you have to ask me how many pages, I'm not sure. As long as you can contain everything in the first 2 pages of your CV that you want the recruiter to know, that's more than enough, if that makes sense, right?
Vital criteria.
Yeah, everything that's important
that you should
right
be based
there.
out in UAE.
Vital criteria, you have to be here. You have to be here because, I mean, pre-pandemic, it was also important for recruiters to have them here. But now with the pandemic on, it's even more important that you have to be here.
I hope everything is clear now that if you're looking out for job opportunities in the UAE, it's better to be here. To boost, to enhance your chances of employment.
Absolutely.
All right.
And Dubai has been kind enough to keep the borders open. So you have to be here, I think.
Absolutely.
Now, coming to certifications, I think it's more function specific. And what I mean by that is, I think if you're in HR and you have an MBA, it kind of works for you because you have an MBA. It also works when you are having an MBA from a renowned organization or an institution, okay? However, if you look at, while recruiting, I often get certification questions for finance and IT.
Okay.
Because I think it's mandatory or vital to have the knowledge of the most recent trends in the market. So when it comes to certifications, I think they're predominantly in finance and IT functions. Now, it also, if you look at it the other way, for example, if you were in sales, how often do you get asked for certifications? Maybe not. More precisely because I think when it comes to sales, it's more behavioral. So you need a good negotiator, you need a good communicator. So certifications don't certify that, right?
Right.
However, if you're in finance, then you need a CMA certified person.
Exactly.
CIMA,
CFA.
exactly, a CFA. Now, if it was in IT, then you need somebody who's certified in Microsoft, Cisco, networking. So when it comes to these functions, I would say certifications are mandatory. Now, what certifications you're going to do to answer that question, I think it's important to see the institution you're getting it from.
Okay.
Now, you could do your certification from anywhere, but is it renowned? Are you going to get your certification after paying all that money? Will you really get something that certifies you are so-and-so? So that's also important.
Right.
Now, in HR, predominantly, I think it depends. So there are 2 really good certifications out there. One is CIPD. I'm an associate CIPD. And then there is the SHRM.
Okay.
Now, CIPD is more European-based, and then the SHRM is more American-based. Now, it depends on how you want to go or the type of market you're targeting, the type of organizations you're targeting, and accordingly, I would take a call. And of course, the institution that's providing it.
Right. Wonderful explanation, and I believe it has answered
I hope
in
so.
detail. Trisha, would you like to comment?
I was just going to say, I get quite a lot of questions in my coaching courses about what should I study, and I think it's really important that you work backwards. So, think maybe where would you like to be? Now, I know you can change your career in 3, 5, even 10 years, and work backwards from the job descriptions at that level to find out what you need to work towards now, so that when you're there, you've already worked on that. Yeah, would you say that would be a good strategy?
Definitely would. I think yes, Trisha, you have a point there. So what happens is, when you want to get into a role, I think you need to start preparing in advance. So you're absolutely right. If I had to get to a level where an MBA is required, and let's say all the senior level managers in my organization have an MBA, I would start working on it because eventually I'll need it. So that's another way to look at it. Look at where you need to be and see how you need to get there.
Right.
And certifications is the key.
So we can say, like, people who are they are wishing to move to UAE in an international market from their home countries. So I believe the competition is high. Correct. So here in the UAE region, people are having MBA degrees with 10 years of experience, and a simple diploma with 10 years of UAE experience is another candidate. And then there's another candidate who has an MBA and they have 5 years of experience in their home countries, but they have the certification. So I believe you are in a high competition here in the UAE to compete with the other applicants. So it's better to level up your skill sets and qualifications.
I think something to add to what you're saying, I think if you had to rank these three candidates that you just mentioned, I think work experience is key, and being here in the UAE is key, and then being here with that work experience in the UAE is key, and then your certifications step in, and then they make you
She
stand
said it
out.
again, the importance of being in the UAE.
Being here.
Lance, when you make videos on YouTube, do you also encourage your community, your subscribers, that they should be here in the UAE region? For example, people who are based out in Philippines or in Pakistan or in any other part of the world, and they are reaching out to you, sir, please guide us, what are the job portals? Do you also advise them to be here in the UAE? This is the paramount concern in cracking job interviews.
In average, I would get around 10 to 20 people on a daily basis asking, can I apply from this country? I'm not in the UAE right now. Like before coming in, before our live, I was replying to 3 people who are in Africa.
You seems to be job guru
Right,
here.
I know. In Africa, and asking me, do you have any job for this? And I was asking them, are you in the UAE? No, I'm in Kenya. The other one, I'm in Uganda. And then another person, I'm in India. I was like, then how can I help you? Then, I mean, the only thing that I can help you with is go to the job portal. But the chance of you being selected is very less because you'll be competing with people who are here already. So right now, looking for a job in the UAE is an investment. I mean, all of us needs really to come over and get a chance of being selected. But you need to be equipped. We need to be ready. Teresa is here to help you with your CVs and everything that you need. And I'm here to help you finding a job. So all of us are here. Yeah.
Great. When it comes to personal branding, I really would like to open this as a topic. We hear a lot about networking and personal branding. So networking, so we do understand like connecting with the people, sending them the invite, being on an event, speaking with the people is all about networking, communication. Any sort of communication comes under the umbrella of networking. But what about personal branding? On LinkedIn, we'll come to Trisha, you as well, but really would like to know from you, Lance, like personal branding for job seekers on YouTube. Do you think like people who have lost their jobs, they still have an opportunity that they can open up their YouTube channel and they can sell their skill sets? Maybe people, they have some great knowledge from their past experience, employers they have worked for, and they still can make content. And there is a program for YouTube monetization also that you can earn a little bit of the money, but still there is a value in it, rather than just sitting back home and only submitting the application, but going out there on YouTube, creating your personal brand and setting up a channel. So importance of personal branding on YouTube for the job seekers.
Well, yeah, as mentioned a while ago, not only YouTube, but you have a lot of platforms that you can use in order to build your to build yourself and be out in the market in order for the people who's looking for someone. And easily for them, they can see you because, like one example, I was telling Trisha that one company is currently looking for a recruiter, and then it so happened that the company is not only looking for an HR person, but someone who has an experience being in the social media world. So, you know, if you, like what you said, in YouTube, you can monetize, you can do this and that while waiting for some opportunity. And at the same time, it will be easy for a recruiter like me or like us here to find the person if in case that you guys don't know that we even use social media in order for us to do some background checking, right? Yeah. So I have rejected a lot of people in the past because when I went to their Facebook page, I found a lot of, you know, unnecessary things that needs to be put there. And people are saying, no, it's unfair. It's a personal thing, Facebook, and you are basing your background checking on whatever we're posting in there. But sometimes, you know, we really need to, depending on the position that we're hiring for, sometimes we really need to go extra mile on getting a lot of information in different, you know, in different platforms, different locations.
Were you camera shy? Yes or no when you started? Because for me, when I started my journey on like making videos and doing live broadcasts, it was almost like a roller coaster ride. Being on the top and then, okay, live. And then I was like, okay, How was it for you?
Well, I'd been hosting events since high school in front of 3,000,
Wow.
5,000 people. So it's like it's not new to me
It's
at
like
all.
your
So
home
yeah,
already.
and usually the contents that I'm having, I don't have script. I usually like, give me 1 minute, and then right away when I'm in front of the camera, I easily do it because I think it's innate, you
Really?
know, already.
Wow.
Yeah, I love what I'm doing as always. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you want to add, Luis, something about personal branding for the job seekers? Or I also have a very important question to ask you, which is regarding the job portals.
Okay.
So let me get back to you on the job portals, but really would like to take a quick opinion from Trisha in the meantime. Personal branding on LinkedIn. How the job applicants, they can brand themselves on LinkedIn.
So I think, first of all, you have to think beyond the CV. So these days, you don't just get hired on the resume. I think a lot of people, and you just mentioned that, you know, and even I've been helping some people recruit, you will see even their tagline, their photo, and a little blurb, and you're intrigued to go and look further and then read about them more. So if this is not polished or up to date and, you know, content rich, you're not really enticed to go and find out more about that candidate. So I think once that person is engaged on your page and finds out, wow, you know, this person is a thought leader, they've got really nice content, consistent, a good audience, they will more likely have transferable skill sets that you can implement in your
Right.
organization. And I think it shows these days, you if you're hiring for sales or marketing, you can't just be solely focused on that. You need to be multi-skill set, and you know, and especially having technology skills, digital marketing, and this shows it. I think personal branding on LinkedIn really gives you the opportunity to be able to showcase these skill sets
Exactly.
outside of the title that you hold.
Perfect. Great answer. Luis, job portals.
Yes.
People are coming to UAE from their home countries and they are applying for jobs on different job portals. But as an employer, which job portals do you prefer to recruit candidates? For example, you have already mentioned LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Which other platforms do you usually go to source the candidates where you get their profiles and to call them for an interview, or the portal that you would go and advertise your positions, so that this is basically for the applicants that they should not miss on those opportunities on those portals. I know there are different portals in the UAE. One of the leading job portal is I Want to Work, as in letter I want to, WRK, has thousands of qualified candidates on this portal. We have Naukri Gulf, we have Paith, we have Gulf Talent as well. So do you use a mix of these portals? So I really would like to encourage all of our listeners, and especially potentially the UAE job aspirants, that they should not miss any of these job portals when they're looking for job opportunities. So do you go all across these portals to source candidates, or you just focus only on LinkedIn?
Well, it depends on the role and the seniority level. So if it's a senior level and if it's within, let's say, IT finance, I tend to lean more towards LinkedIn and Naukri Gulf.
Okay.
Yes, those two. I'll always find very good candidates in those two platforms. If it's any other role, I'll go to, Bait, I'll go to I Want to Work. I work very, very well with Rahul from I Want to Work, because he's got a very, very big platform with a lot of candidates, and that really, really helps me out when it comes to...
And candidates are active on these portals
They
as well.
are very, very, very
So
active.
when you post, you immediately get the response from the candidate.
Exactly, which is what I like, like instant response, where it shows me whether the candidate is available or not, are they in the country, all the these are just the basics that I normally go for when it comes to recruitment.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Valencia, you have been in the recruitment as well, and you recruit for different roles as well. I really would like to ask the common mistakes maybe you want to highlight. So if you are posting, there's a funny thing. We were sitting with our HR friends, and they said whenever they post a vacancy online and they say only female is required, but still you get male applicants, and the male applicants would just believe and think, oh, maybe they might change their minds and they might go for a male applicant. So they still take their chances.
Correct.
So do you come across these applications, for example, you're looking for, and you have mentioned clearly that we're looking for people who have the UA driving license, and then you would receive a CV, no UA driving license.
Okay, so I'd like to point out that when you see an ad that says females only, please do not apply to it because, for one, you probably think you're going to change our mind, but
No.
our ATS is automatically screening you out. So we're not really seeing your application to begin with.
Right.
So when we log into the system and actually look at the applications, we're going to see only female applicants. So there's no need to apply to it, please. And if you're going to have your hopes high that, at some point we're going to call, no, it's not, because a female is required. And it's not gender bias. I think it's more to do with maybe the diversity in the team, the ratio within the company and things like that. So don't feel bad if you're asking for females only. Yes, I do receive a lot of applications. One classic example is when I post the role of an intern and I get applications with people with 10 years of experience. Now, that is a little sad for me when I see that. I get it, the job market is bad and any opportunity would work at this point, but it is a little sad. But I think what you need to do is try and look for roles that really, really match your profile, because we're not going to look at it, it's just going to get skipped.
Spend
And
time in personal branding.
Yeah, spend your time in
YouTube
personal
channel.
branding, YouTube channels,
As we all-
And I think I think the common mistake people make is applying to the wrong job.
Right.
And then the worst thing you can do for yourself on a job portal is leave an incomplete application.
Right.
Because what happens in most ATSs, actually, I work on Talio. So what happens is your application goes to the bottom of the application list because it's incomplete. And all the ones that are complete come to the top. So that's the biggest mistake you can do, in my opinion, really.
A quick question regarding certification here.
Yeah.
When is the best time to go for a certification? So a person who has done an MBA, HR, and so what do you advise him or her, people who are listening to us right now, and especially the graduates? I think you really can answer this. At what point of time in their careers they should go for an HR certification? With the experience or with their, right after MBA, they should begin with their certification?
Well, there's never really going to be a right time for you to do any certification. Now, if you have completed your MBA, you're really brain exhausted, right? So I think take a break. You've completed your MBA, give your MBA the chance to work for itself now. That would be my opinion. Next step is get your work experience sorted, get that in line. Now, most certifications that are out there, like CIPD, for example, they look for certain years of experience for you to get that certification. So in my opinion, I think if you have completed your MBA, take a pause, work on your work experience, and then get a certification.
And maybe you find your interest.
Yeah.
That
For all
you don't
may
need
know,
a certification, or maybe you need a diploma.
Or maybe you got into HR for some reason and then you suddenly decide maybe marketing is my field. So you can always change from there on. So I think let your MBA or whatever your educational background is work for itself. Start working in the field, because it could be very different from what you read in the text and what you actually do in person. So
Great, perfect.
And I think above all, something that's really important, I want to point out when it comes to taking certifications, the courses can be lengthy. So any course would run from 1 year to 2 years approximately. I think the right time is when you are prepared, when you are ready to devote that time into that certification. You're ready to let go of all your partying habits. You're ready to let go of everything worldly and sit back and just study and go to work and come back. That's when you're ready.
Absolutely.
The Jobs Talk with Sohaib Hasan. Brought to you by I Want to Work.
Just one app, you don't need to pay. Get a job the easy way. I want to work.
I think you have answered it in very detail, and it was very helpful. I hope, guys, you are enjoying today's live broadcast with me, Sohaib Hasan. We have Lance with us. We have Luis. On my left is Valencia, and your very favorite Trisha Chapman. And we are discussing everything about UAE job market and insights, and how you can crack your opportunity using personal branding, networking, job application, job portals, using the best job searching strategies. If you have got any questions, put them in the comments below, and we make sure to include your questions in the next 5 minutes. I'm going to go back to my mobile and I'm going to see if you have guys any questions that I can ask from these experts. I'll take your questions, so start putting them in the comments below. 2 questions more before we go back to the audience questions. One question, Trisha, from you is regarding the LinkedIn optimization. It's one of the very important concern from the job seekers, from the applicants' point of view. And then I will come to you, Lance, asking what do we need to do or let me put that way, the do's and don'ts when it comes to recording in Dubai. So when you are out on the road and you want to film yourself, and the things that you should do and the things that you should better avoid while filming. And then we go back to the audience questions.
Perfect. So I guess maybe just recapping a really, really important point about applying for jobs that are not applicable to you. And this also goes for LinkedIn, because the more you apply for jobs that are not relevant, whether it's through Easy Apply or Apply, the more mental issues of not hearing back, or the not depression, but the downside. I'm sure you know what I mean. The frustration and the mental challenges of job searching builds up, because if you're not hearing from a reply because you've applied for the wrong position, actually it's you. It's not the recruiter. So, yes. Sorry, job seekers, but just think from their side, okay? So you obviously, if you want to hear back, you need to be specific. So LinkedIn, and that applies for LinkedIn as well. So don't go and hit that easy apply button just because you love the title. I think it's really important to be ensuring that it's specific to what you're after, and then you'll have more chance of hearing back. So how do you do this? So from my side, what I really would be encouraging is check the skill set. So for those of you who have got premium, you are listed, I think there's 9 different skills within the job, or pending, the recruiter might enter specific ones that they are looking for in LinkedIn. Make sure that you're a match. So if you've only got 1, 2, 3, you're probably not going to rank well on their search site, and you guys can verify this. So go in and edit your LinkedIn. So make sure that you're getting 8, 9 compatibility match, right? Have a content-rich LinkedIn profile. Now, if you don't have premium, it's really easy to scan the job advert. You can see organizational skills. You might have to have JavaScript or C++, some form of coding. It will say it in the job description. So add it somewhere in your LinkedIn profile, whether that's in the skill set or in your headline, tagline, etc. And make sure that it is, filled with enough content that matches the sector that you're hiring for.
Absolutely.
I hope that gives a high-level overview.
Just a quick, regarding the profile picture, they would post, did you come across, like candidates, they look very different on their CVs. Yeah. And when you see them face-to-face or in a Zoom session, it's like completely different.
Yeah, or they've got like one tiny little pinprick photo and then the massive Burj Khalifa or Eiffel Tower behind them. It's great, but it's not them.
All right. Have you come across such applicants?
Absolutely.
Like on LinkedIn, they are like, oh wow.
Yeah, and then when you meet them, you're like, are you the same person? I don't know if they used whatever it is, Photoshop or whatever. Totally different, They now have maybe facial hair. They didn't have facial hair. They are just totally, completely different. Whereas they should have been updating their profile. So again, candidates, when you're applying for jobs, it's important for you to update your profile picture all the time. Don't use a photo that you used 10 years ago when you were still in college or something.
Not even 10 years. I mean, even for a few months. I mean, I just put my picture, I was shaved actually, and nobody was recognizing me when I was going in the malls. In January when I came back, but people recognized me with my beard. Yeah. So even yesterday I was in Karama for a tea, and there was like a guy, he came like, hey, are you Sohaib? I said, yeah. And nice to meet you. Exactly. I was like, okay, so it helps. Yeah, it so helps. It's the beard. This is what I carry. Yeah. This is my brand. Great. Joy, when it comes to filming in Dubai, things that we should avoid better.
Right. There are a lot of things actually, but I'll just mention those that are very important. Anything offensive, definitely something that you need to avoid. Religion, very important. So as much as possible, don't just talk about it if in case that you are not sure about what you're talking about. That's very important. The race that might get other people offended. That's very important. Something that you need to avoid. Sexuality, and another thing is just make sure that when you are doing your video that you get permission from other people in the background who are moving, walking around, because it could be an offense and they can actually report you because you did not get any permission from them. The others, what they're doing is they even ask for a signature from the people that can I get your view about this topic or that topic, and then they will ask them to sign like a consent that yes, I agree with this and that, because a lot of people, especially those who are very conservative, that they don't want to be in the video, and even accidentally you were able to take video of them passing by or whatsoever, they can actually report you. So you just need to avoid all this. And you can check all the other information actually online. There are so many blogs, so many write-ups regarding this. So before you start doing anything, just make sure that you know the rules in the country where you're doing your content.
Exactly. Thank you for the explanation. All right. So going back to the audience questions, we're going to take a couple of their questions as well, and really quick answers. One we have from Tahirin. She's asking, I have applied to more than 250 places in the last 2 months. I'm well qualified as well as experienced, and I haven't received even one single reply. What could be the possibility?
I think it goes back to what we are saying. Tahreen, is that correct? Did I say that right?
Tahirin.
Tahreen. I think too many applications are not, it's not a number that you should bank on, because of the 200 applications, how many of those applications do you really match the skill for skill? So I think when you're applying for a job, ensure that at least 75% of the job description is what matches your skill set, and there could be a chance you get a call. And I think something that I as a job seeker has done and it has worked is not just leaving your application there, move on to networking. And you would agree, right? I think once you've applied to the job, get in touch with the recruiters. LinkedIn is a really wonderful platform. Get in touch with the recruiters, get in touch with the people from that organization, from that particular function, that department. Try to get in there, speak to them. How do you get to the HR? Whom can I speak to? So I think really work out. And if you really have made 250 applications, I think something you're missing is a focus. Would you all agree as HR? I think if there are so many jobs out there, then the thing that you're doing wrong is there's no focus. I'm not sure what department or function you're in, but start strategizing that search a little better.
Right.
If anybody wants to add to that.
Good. I think, Trisha, you can also add, because the next question, I think it's relevant to your expertise. Nikhil Nair, he's asking, how can I stand a chance to stand out in a list of applications for a job which has more than 200 applications? So I think it's more towards gearing towards tailoring the application to help you stand out. So again, it goes back to the importance of having a tailored application.
Absolutely.
So, but how a tailored application actually helps on a recruiter's table when they see. So as a recruiter, when they see a CV, they say, okay, this is the perfect match. This is the exact profile that we have been looking for, because it's a tailored application. It's because you have invested your time. You have rightly highlighted the skill sets. Everything is in proportion, and you have worked on your CV.
Yeah, so maybe I won't touch more on having tailored application, because I feel we've covered that quite a lot. So what are some other tips and tricks you can do? And you guys, please back me up. I mean, you are reading my outputs, but so don't forget, CV. It's an art, right? So you can still have a presentable, aesthetic, appealing document that when you open it from your guys' end, if the first third of that document is like, whoa, who is this? And you want to scroll down, it really makes it a positive image, or positive that subconscious, thoughts behind you. Who is this person? I really like them. Even if the first impression, exactly. Even if there might be some small errors moving forward, because you have already given that first great impression of the first third of the document, they might be negated. Okay, so how can you do that? Maybe bolding some words, putting a border around your page. Use blue font for your name, for example. So yes, they are all ATS compliant or friendly tips and tricks, but it also is an aesthetic, appealing document that will give a positive impact from the first time you open that page.
Right. Joy, I think this is more relevant to you, because you are getting questions from different parts of the world, and the job seeker, they are reaching out to you. We have Zeba, who is asking, within the UAE market, employers, do they recruit outside UAE, and especially females in the HR background? In your experience?
Well, based on experience, actually, we really prefer people who are here already. Number one is experience.
Okay.
That's number one if they are here. Or if they don't have experience and the experience is back in their home country, but they are already here, that's still an advantage. Reason is because usually when we post a job, it's urgent, right? And we don't, if the person is outside, that means that it's going to take time for them to apply for the visa, the ticket, and everything that they need to prepare in order for them to transfer from their country coming here.
Right.
So most of the time, and this is what I always say, when we post a job, that means that job is needed yesterday. Yeah, actually, that's how desperate we are when we post something. Unless it's really, we cannot find someone who's here in the UAE, then that's the time that we post and we tell people that this position is open for people who are outside the UAE and we can take you. But with the current situation as well, which is very hard for us to process, like I have clients in my consultancy right now, we're trying to get people from Sri Lanka, and it's really hard to get a visa approved. Then still,
Right.
it is, yeah.
Great. One more question we'll take here, and I believe it goes to you, Luis, more relevant since you are pure in recruitment right now. It's regarding, Hannah has asked from Bangladesh that do employers prefer walk-in interviews as a recruitment, and in, let's say with this COVID-19, we have seen before COVID, the employers, their doors were open for walk-in interviews, and the job applicants, they would just go to a company's office, submitted their CVs to the security guards, and the security guard will take them all up to the HR department. What about now? So the job seekers who are coming right now in the UAE, are employers open to accept walk-in interviews and accept the applications?
Unfortunately not, because of all the guidelines in place. And the social distancing and all the we normally don't prefer walk-in at all, unfortunately. More often than not, we are just going virtual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's better to set up a meeting with the recruiter, reaching out to you on LinkedIn, inquiring more about the future upcoming positions, and then set up a meeting maybe online to discuss more about the role and how they can fit in.
Exactly. And I've had someone ask about, they've applied so many times, but they never got a call back. What I found as well from experience, sometimes when the job seeker reaches out to me directly, because maybe I may have somehow rejected the profile, maybe because of just something really, really small. Maybe it was a technical element or something. So sometimes when they reach out to me, I'll actually go through the profile directly and I will check. And I've had 2 instances where I've recruited 2 people that the system automatically rejected.
Wow.
Then they wrote to me directly, and I actually went through their profile, and I said, oh, actually, this person is worth an interview. And I hired them. Yeah. Exactly, yeah, exactly. So sometimes they need to be more proactive in writing to the recruiter.
Right.
Or the job poster directly.
Great.
Yeah.
So this was the round of questions with our audience. In my live broadcast, I always interact with my audience. Not only to make them feel special, but also because I have a set of questions that I really wanted to ask today. But with our audience, because they come from different backgrounds, from different regions, they have different questions. Even the small questions, I make sure that I take in my live broadcast. Coming back to you, Valencia, again, about the certifications. When it comes to the exams, so on one side, you're spending a lot of money.
Correct.
You're spending a lot of money, 20, 30,000 dirhams.
Yes.
And on the other side, you have to appear in the exam.
Correct.
Which is more frightening. What if you fail and you would lose all of your money?
Correct.
So these certifications exam are easy, or they are difficult to pass?
It's a tough question to answer. Okay, so now
here or in the certification exam?
Here, this particular question is a tough one. I'll tell you why. Now, I've just done CIPD. Okay. I have done a diploma before, and I had multiple choice questions, which for me was pretty difficult. Now, I'm someone who likes to write answers. So if you gave me a question and told me, here you go, write what you want, I'd do that really well. But if you told me to pick from multiple choice, I kind of get through a lot of stress. Wow. Now, yes, they are stressful, but I think you can get through it if you put your mind to it. Anyone can do that, right? I mean, you put your mind to it, you will get through it. Now, if you're talking about certain certifications, I think they are easy to pass, majorly because they give you the opportunity to pass. Now, CIPD, for example, it is report writing, it is presentations. So you're basically putting it out there according to what you have understood. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's just how much of it really matches what's required. So it's not difficult. You have to put your head to it. However, you need to focus. Now, once that's done and once that's out of the way, I think it's a matter of result. Now, if you've passed, good. But if you haven't, I don't think these certifications really fail you. They give you another attempt. So, and they'll tell you where you went wrong, and then you rectify that and you are eligible to pass. So I don't think you should be under stress at all. I think focus, get it done the first time, obviously, get it done right the first time, so then you don't have to worry about it. But at the same time, you will get the chance again.
Do you think age come and play its part in certification? People who are in a certain age group, they are less likely to grasp or comprehend the knowledge in a certification, and especially when they are appearing for the exam. So as you were saying, like, memorizing each and everything in your mind. So people who are in certain age bracket, their memory is strong, and for them it's easy to remember a lot of things as compared to people who are in a certain age group.
Well, you have a point. But I think my school of thought is a little different. I don't think it's the age per se in terms of memory. I think it's the age in terms of learning to grasp the newer ways of doing it. So whilst there is someone who, let's say, completed education some years ago, where they went into a school, sat at a desk and wrote a paper, today you sit behind your desk in your own home and you're typing it out onto a PC. So I think it's the transition from what used to be and what it is now that is the difficulty, really. And I think somewhere where I struggled was I had given exams like 10 years after I actually did the CIPD. So I think it took me discipline to actually sit at the desk and actually prepare and do the exam.
Exactly.
So I think that's where the thing is. That's the difficulty part.
Great. Let's collect 5 different keywords when it comes to personality, and just one keyword from your side as a personality skill which the job applicants they would need when they're coming to the UAE and they're looking for job, that how they can impress the employer from their behavioral skills, their personality skill. Which one you would identify which you think is the most important for the job applicants? Or if you would like to go first, Joy, we can begin from here.
Natural. Be natural.
Be you. Be yourself.
Be you.
Be natural.
Yep.
I would say tech savvy.
Absolutely. From my side, it would be communication.
I would say body language.
Body language.
Yeah.
How you communicate with your body language.
Yeah,
your
exactly.
gestures.
Exactly.
Appearance, maybe. Presentation.
Presentation.
How you sell yourself,
Yeah.
more or less.
More or less, yes.
More or less,
How you
great.
sell yourself. It's a body language.
Because it's all about you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about you.
Be normal, be natural.
Be normal,
Just
be
be you. Don't try to be someone else. Just be you.
Be you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll stick to that.
For me, being innovative.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just nowadays it's very, very important.
The Jobs Talk with Sohaib Hasan. Brought to you by I Want to Work.
Just one app, you don't need to pay. Get a job the easy way. I want to work.
This is the beauty. I love connecting with the people and sitting with people from different backgrounds. That you get to learn a lot.
Yeah.
Now, in my mind, I didn't even think at this moment of being innovative. So yes, tech savvy. We have being you, be responsible, great communicator, presentation skills. But just innovation is one of the thing. Is how you innovate yourself, or how innovate new strategies maybe to explore more opportunities. Great, perfect. A last round of a couple of more questions. Okay, I will go back to you, Trisha, and it's regarding the importance of having a CV writer. Yes. Is it really important for a job applicant to have a CV writer when
That's my business.
So when
Yeah.
they see like, okay, it's a dead end, okay.
Let's take it from a different perspective. So if you have never learned guitar before, or the last time you played piano was when you were 8 years old and now you're 20 and you want to join or play with your kids now that they're a little bit older, do you just try and YouTube it yourself or Google it and you've got like 10 different strategies to try and learn? Okay, you can try, but maybe it'll take you longer to get to the process that is desired. So I really think hiring a professional or even attending a Zoom call or a coaching session, just to gain some skill sets and market insights is really important to be able to fast track and ensure that you are on the right track and, really focused and strategic to have that outcome that you really want. So yes, I know it's my business and I do quite well, but I'll be honest here, and I don't usually brag, but I have been really quite successful actually with the CVs that I'm creating, and actually a UAE job seeker package that I've got. Clients have been getting interviews, so I think they work. It's one tool out of the toolbox that you can have, but I think you should really be coached or mentored or work with someone to be able to fast track the process.
So what is the best way as a CV writer you interact with your client? Is it a Zoom face-to-face, you take their requirements, and also it's maybe you can guide the job applicants if they are contacting different CV writers across different regions across the globe, what they should actually look for in a good CV writer, and how they can better explain themselves to the CV writers. Like if I have a pain, I would go to a doctor and I would exactly explain each and everything. I have a pain, no matter where in the body I have a pain, but I will explain to him because I want the exact medication.
Absolutely.
So how important it is for the
absolutely.
applicants.
So I prefer to work with my clients one-to-one. I do have packages that they can just download and off they go, but I really try to ensure that I'm having a one-to-one session so I can understand why or what they've been doing in the past to work out maybe what's their pain point or their failure up until now. And more importantly, where are they looking to go forward? So maybe they're actually looking for a cross-functional role. So in the CV, we would want to be showcasing their skill sets more so rather than purely experience. So if you don't know the person, and even personality, if I'm got someone who's quite charismatic or someone who is maybe an introvert, I want to be showcasing the right words so that when you guys get the resumes, you already have maybe a picture that's a little bit articulate. So when you get on a call with them or interview, actually the CV matches that personality. So that would be my point. So whoever you're working with or coaching session you're doing, make sure they get to know you.
Oh, okay, great answer. Luis, so we have a perfect CV now in front of a recruiter's table, and you're looking at the CV. The CV writer and the applicant, they have worked together. The job applicant, the candidate has explained everything to the CV writer. These are the roles that I want to go for in this region. These are my top 10 skill sets. Help me sell my profile. And the CV writer has done a wonderful job. The CV looks 100% relevant, tailored to the job. Top-notch applicants, if you would pick the top 5, this CV would be there. Now, when it comes to the recruiter or a person who is looking at the CV, how important it is for him or her to be a good evaluator. That they should see the difference between a great CV and a CV which is normal or just a traditional CV.
That's a tricky question, Sohaib.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask, from an expert point of view, is like how important it is for. Okay, so we have talked a lot about the job applicants, a lot about how important it is for the person now who is evaluating. Like they should be also skilled in evaluating a CV. They should pinpoint, they should spotlight the key elements within a CV.
Yeah.
Or anybody, for example, like we have seen on LinkedIn, there are different profiles. Somebody who has a degree in engineering, computer science engineer, he's an IT recruiter.
Yeah.
What in the world?
Yeah.
It happens. It's quite possible.
So in your opinion, the question now is, do you think it is important for the person who is getting the job applications, getting the CVs, that he or she should be skilled also?
Absolutely.
Be knowledgeable that how to evaluate a CV.
Exactly. For me, when I evaluate the CV, sometimes, obviously, if I'm recruiting for a role that is, say for example, it's not within HR, and there are other technical elements required, how I would evaluate the CV, obviously I'd look at the technical sides based on the job description, fine. But then I wouldn't be like an expert, for example, in finance, exactly what finance is looking for. And this is where I would get someone in finance, like the finance head, first look at the profile and evaluate it and tell me what you think from a technical, I keep forgetting, sorry. Yeah. So this is where I first give the head of a department the profile, and I tell them, can you just look at this, review the CV from a technical. Yeah, exactly. And then I'll come in later from a competency perspective. You know, the behavioral. Are they the right fit for the brand? You know, how they come across, the behaviors. Will they be a great fit for us? Right. Yeah. But
Please.
yeah.
Thank you, Luis.
Yes, correct. Job applicants are at the focus of this, conversation. But how important is it for a recruiter to be quite skilled? Is equally important, because what happens is as recruiters, we do understand that not all job applicants know what to have on their CV. So I think it comes with skill, it comes with experience that, okay, maybe yes, this person may not have the skill set, but if you look further, it might be there, because I don't think job applicants are that unaware of where they're applying. So there could be one possibility where, they know that they match it in some way or the other. It's a matter of just looking through it. But having said that, I still think that job applicants should have a perfect CV, you would agree, that kind of grabs the recruiter's attention. Right. It's that first page where you draw the recruiter's attention to it. And that's very, very important. Right. So you can't rely on it's the recruiter's job to see it. You have to ensure that the recruiter sees it. So I think that's more important as well. So.
Exactly. I think everything is so
interlinked.
Exactly.
It's you selling yourself and how you come across on the CV, because that's the first thing we get. That's the first thing we see. We don't see you, we don't know you. Yeah, it's the first impression. So your CV, when we look at it, and again, from experience, I've had CVs where I looked at them and they were absolutely amazing. Of course, the candidate wasn't, unfortunately. Yeah, it happened to you guys. I'm sure even to you guys, right?
Like it's easy for a CV writer to get a job. Like, they will get the job easily, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So again, candidates, when you're selling yourself, just make sure that your CV is top notch. Right. Yeah. It's got exactly should be.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, and my last question to you, Lance, now is, since now you have shifted your focus from HR recruitment background, and you have worked almost a decade there, and now you have taken a new step, a new journey on YouTube, where still you are associated with the HR. Content that you share is related to HR, and you have global audience following you on YouTube. And please also tell audience your YouTube channel, where they can go and subscribe and they can listen to your videos and watch your content. My question is, how do you enjoy all these activities? Is this something that you feel like a divine call every day in the morning that you have to create the content?
Right, today is a wake-up call actually, because I haven't posted for a very long time, and I've been contemplating what kind of content should I really put into. Do I need to make a separate channel for this and that? Because another thing about creating a content in the UAE that will help a lot of people who would like to come in Dubai is knowing about the country itself. I mean, because a lot of things that you need to prepare about, you need to learn about. And unfortunately, nobody's doing that until now. Most of the content creators in the UAE are about food, about where to go
Travel,
in Dubai, travel,
culture.
in all that. But no one is doing anything related to jobs, which I already created related to HR. And information with regards to
This is the third
the
video
UAE.
you are making, by the way. With me. This is the one.
Yeah. So your question about am I enjoying it? Of course I am. Because at the end of the day, when you see people, I always say this, even if you get 3 or 4 views only, not even 1,000 or not even 100, and there is one person who will say, this is very informative, thank you for helping me out with this, that's already a good thing.
It has made your day.
Yeah. Because what's the reason for doing this? Of course, for us to reach out and to help other people with regards to some information.
And I think it's also important, whenever you visit your home country, you can always host different workshops in different universities, colleges, and you can, grab the audience, grab the people there. Hey, today I'm gonna.
See, you gave me another idea. We're
Yes.
putting another channel where that. Yeah.
I'll send the invoice later.
Well, this is only an example that the pandemic did not, did not actually kill a lot of ideas, but there are more that we can do. There are more that we can actually do. It's time to wake up. Yeah.
I hope, guys, you have thoroughly enjoyed today's live broadcast. And now moving towards the end, and now we're going to wind up this whole session. And please don't forget to leave your comments in this live broadcast, and let me know if you have enjoyed this live broadcast, and if you would like me to create more of such sessions under this the job stock, and I can bring more experts in a panel talk, and maybe we can share the learnings together. So please do let me know in the comments below after this live broadcast. I'm going to go and I'm going to read your comments. I just would like to ask your tips, quick tips for people who are now planning their trips to the UAE and they would like to come here. So what do you advise them? Really quick, maybe in 1 or 2 lines. Or I think you are thinking.
I'm thinking.
Okay, let's begin with Valencia and then Trisha.
I'm ever ready. First, meet Sohaib. Then go to Trisha, get your CV done, then send it to the 3 of us,
Yeah.
and we'll get you there.
and then be a panel here.
Get on to I Want to Work, right?
Yes.
Get on to I Want to Work. Get your CV out there as well. Well, but realistically, I think first things first, get into the country, and then get in touch, start networking, and land that job as soon as possible. And good luck to everyone who's
So
looking for a
networking
job.
is your key.
Networking.
So even if the job applicant, the UAE job aspirants, they are based out in their home country, they can start networking.
Start networking. That's where it starts.
So when it comes to networking, can you just quickly explain them? Is like what is networking? Is like
Sure.
So when you say start networking,
Yeah.
so what actually they need to do?
Okay, so before I moved to the UAE, I was always in Kuwait, right? So the minute I knew that I was moving into Dubai, the first thing I did was I changed my location from Kuwait to UAE. So what happens with that is your network widens into the UAE market. Then what you do is you start connecting with all the organizations you want to be a part of, all the people that you know are already here. So for example, I'm sure you didn't take the decision overnight, right? So you know somebody in the UAE. Network with them. I'm coming to UAE. I will be here around this and this time. What do you suggest? Start doing that. Speak to them because these are people you know and you can vouch for, right? Like they will help you. Then the companies, then the people within those organizations you want to get through. Another way to do it, this is what I tell all people who come to me. 1, active jobs. Whatever is active, start connecting with those companies and the people within that. That's your first thing to do.
And that's how you create your job referrals.
Absolutely.
Right. Trisha, people who are coming to UAE, what are your
Yes.
tips for them?
2 things, just super quick. I'm pretty short and sweet to the point. Yes. So first of all, sign up and join all of these events that are happening. The likes of these guys who have got YouTube channels, LinkedIn events, people, they're bringing in influencers and people, panel discussions, join them. Like you cannot learn more free, valuable information. The second thing, please don't boot me off your show for a commercial plug here, but I've got an amazing UAE job seeker dedicated package. It's on my website. It has got so many valuable resources.
Right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There is a UAE recruiter list. There is a job searching strategy package. There's a UAE template, CV template specifically for the UAE. There's lots. So if you don't mind the plug.
How they can reach out to your website?
Yeah,
or?
sure. So it's www.impressivecv.com. Then go to international employment and then go to UAE job seeker package. If you use the code success2job, you'll receive a great discount. So please absolutely go for this. You're welcome to reach me on LinkedIn, Trisha Chapman. And if you've got any questions at all, I'm super responsive and I can help you before you make the purchase.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Trisha, for your... So, Luis?
Having
Okay.
captured all that,
Okay.
for me, please, your profile, your CV, your personal branding has to be top notch. That is all I can say. Sell yourself from the word go.
Sell yourself.
Yeah.
Learn how to sell yourself.
Yes. For me, one very important thing is make a research about the country. That's very important because once you come here, you need to be ready so you know what what kind of expectations you should set. Number 2 is set a goal, but be ready to be heartbroken because sometimes we think that in the matter of 3 weeks or a month, I get a job, and then later on you find that no, it's not happening. So you give yourself another week or two. So be ready with the disappointments, but don't be disheartened because at the end of the day, there's a reason why you were able to come here. That means that you'll be able to find a job by yourself. Right. Yeah.
Great, fantastic. And from my side, the last thing is to take the most important decision is to take the flight and be here. When it comes to your job searching in the UAE, which puts you at an edge to crack more opportunities and to connect with the people. So I hope today's live broadcast was helpful for all of you. We had today Trisha, who is an expert CV writer, and she's an expert in LinkedIn optimization. We have Valencia, who is a seasoned HR professional. Miss Luis, HR professional with decade of experience. We have Lance Joy with recruitment and HR background as well. And by the way, you didn't tell us about your YouTube channel.
Oh, yes. Just go to my Facebook page. It's DuBlog, DuBlog. If you have any questions, anything about job, then we'll be able to help you. Okay. Thank you.
So it's DuBlog, DuBlog. So you can find this guy across different social media platforms. Thank you very much for your love and support. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below. And as I said, if you would like to see more of such live broadcasts, make sure you let me know in the comments below, and I'll bring new experts with a new live broadcast under the job stock. Take care of yourself. God bless you, and be kind to yourself. I'll request one of my colleagues to please press the end broadcast, the red button there. But before he presses goodbye to all of you, goodbye.